Days of Our Lives recap. Friday, February 23. Stefan's crime revealed. Harris wakes up. Xander's mystery money. Days of Our Lives preview. Week of February 26. Stefan's doctor disguise. Lenny cries over Polina. Holly awake. Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. After watching these videos, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Days of Our Lives spoilers recap for Friday, February 23, reveals that Clyde Weston summoned Stefan Dimera to Statesville and spoke with him outside near the fence instead of in the usual visiting area. Stefan wore a hoodie, and it was eventually revealed that he wore one the night he went after Harris Michaels as well. There was a flashback of Harris recognizing Stefan before he pulled the trigger twice. Clyde Weston was disappointed that Harris survived since Stefan was supposed to get rid of him for good, so he warned that Stefan would have to rectify that if Harris ever regained consciousness. Stefan got reassurance that Gaby was safe for now and assumed Clyde had something to do with Trip Johnson's kidnapping, so Clyde hinted that it was for insurance purposes. At the hospital, a cop scolded Ava Vitali for loitering outside Harris' room and insisted that Rafe Hernandez told him not to let her in. Ava tried her luck with a nurse as well, but she was stuck waiting outside without answers. At the Salem PD on Friday's Days episode, Rafe confronted Xander Cook with the news of a $50,000 payment that went into his account from an untraceable offshore account. Xander had no idea where the money came from, but Justin Kiriakis insisted it was obviously part of the setup. However, Rafe pointed out Xander got a text asking if it was done, and an eyewitness confirmed he was in a hurry near the bistro that night. Xander argued that everyone who went out for a run looked like they were in a hurry and pushed Rafe to see that he was being framed. There was a surveillance photo of someone wearing running gear confronting Harris, but Justin pointed out that the person's face wasn't visible. Rafe eventually considered the possibility that this might be a frame-up, but he didn't seem truly sold. Xander mentioned that it might have been one of the Dimeras and told Rafe about the distorted collar pushing him to eliminate someone. Rafe also heard about Xander's trip to see E.J. Dimera and how he wound up talking to Stefan instead. Once Rafe was gone, Justin warned that Xander could be facing an uphill battle with all the evidence pointing in his direction. Sarah Horton promised she believed in Xander's innocence and turned down his offer to just start a new life elsewhere with Victoria Horton Cook. Xander said he'd understand if Sarah just wanted to move on without him, but she was determined to see him through this. Back at the hospital on Friday's Days of Our Lives show, Ava begged Rafe to let her visit Harris, so he finally proved he had a heart and relented. Once Ava sat by Harris' bedside and said she couldn't lose him, she gave him a kiss. Harris' eyes eventually fluttered open, so Ava was overcome with joy and quickly filled Rafe in. Rafe approached him next and got Harris to squeeze his hand as he once again opened his eyes. When Stefan arrived at the hospital, Ava told him the good news about Harris. Stefan smiled at Ava, but it was obvious that he was nervous about his secret potentially blowing up. At Black Patch on Friday's Days episode, Konstantin Melunis showed up to taunt Steve Johnson about Tripp's kidnapping. That led to Konstantin ranting about Katharina's demise, so he said that Steve Johnson was an accessory since he stood by and watched the pawn do it. Konstantin felt certain John Black was the pawn from all those years ago since he remembered those eyes. Steve denied knowing anything and got Konstantin to admit he was unconscious when Katharina was attacked, so he had no proof. When John showed up, he also denied knowing Katharina or even seeing Konstantin before he came to Salem. Steve acted like Konstantin was just spinning some tale to distract them from his con on Maggie Kiriakis. Konstantin mentioned Trip again and acted like Steve would resort to doing terrible things if he didn't survive, so Steve warned him not to threaten his son and threw him out. John ultimately gave Steve updates on a few witnesses seeing Trip and Wendy Shin in the town square, but there were no leads on where they went. Next on Friday's Days episode, Konstantin looked at the card that controlled the pawn and stuck to his plan to avenge Katharina. Konstantin wanted revenge on Steve and vowed to make John pay the ultimate price once he'd carried out all his tasks. Days of Our Lives spoilers say Konstantin will cause a world of trouble for Steve and John, so stay tuned to Days of Our Lives. Days of Our Lives preview. Week of February 26. Stefan's doctor disguise. Lenny cries over Polina. Holly Awake Days of Our Lives spoilers preview video for the week of February 26 March. One reveals that Nicole DeMera and EJ DeMera will get a shocking wake-up call when they hear Holly Jonas calling out on the monitor. EJ and Nicole will rush to Holly's room and find that she's indeed regained consciousness, so they'll definitely celebrate that news. However, Holly won't understand why she's been in a coma, so she'll push EJ and Nicole to tell her the whole story. Of course, there's one piece of the puzzle that even Nicole and EJ don't know for sure. Nicole asks Holly where she got the drugs in Duo's weekly preview video, but Holly may not remember at first. It's up to Holly to clear Tate Black's name, but her fuzzy memory could get in the way. After Lainey Grant is officially released from prison, she'll head back to Salem for a visit with Eli Grant. Paulina Price is recovering from a heart attack that happened following her recent surgery, so she could use a good dose of happiness right about now. Days spoilers say Paulina will squeal with joy over Lainey and Eli's return. There will be some cute moments as Paulina, Lenny, and Channel DeMera enjoy a group hug at the hospital. Although Lenny will put on a smile around Paulina, she'll privately admit to Abe Carver that she's really worried about her mom. Lenny will tear up and get some comfort from Abe as this family crisis continues. Unfortunately, Kayla Johnson will deliver some terrible updates regarding Paulina's condition, so that'll give Lenny and the others another reason to fret. Next, there will be more questions swirling about Everett Lynch. Eka Bobby Stain Everett will undergo some tests and face Marlena Evans. Dieter Hall questions at the hospital before he fills Chad DeMera in later. "You love her? We don't even know who you really are," Chad yells in Day's weekly promo. It's clear that Chad will flip out over Stephanie Johnson getting tangled up in all this heartbreaking drama, so he'll rip into Everett over the mess. At Statesville, Days spoilers say Clyde Weston will make a phone call to Stefan DeMera and push him to finish the job now that Harris Michaels is awake. Stefan will fire back at Clyde since he won't see how he's supposed to take Harris out when he's under surveillance at the hospital. Clyde may act like that's Stefan's problem to solve and urge him to figure it out, or else Gabby Hernandez DeMera will land in an early grave. Stefan will ultimately pose as a masked doctor and apparently plan to deliver a fatal injection, so he'll be ready to make some bold moves to silence Harris. Days of Our Lives spoilers say some twists and turns are still to come in several different storylines, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching these videos. Please hit the subscribe button for more updated news.